YouTube, what is going on? My name is now officially Corporate Serf here on YouTube, and today we're coming at you with another kovaaks aim tutorial. But first, before we jump into the kovaaks, let's talk about this man here, Aristotle. Aristotle said, "The goodness of a thing lies in its realization of its specific nature." So what is the specific nature of Corporate Serf here on YouTube? Well, let me go ahead and tell you what it is not. This channel does not exist to help you get good at Apex, Counter-Strike, Valorant, or other games. It also is not here to educate you on technique or how to fix your technique. So, what is my channel then? What are my videos? Well, you might see them for a couple of things, but my main three I put were training optimization methods, experimental training routines like my aim cascading, and then also form specialization or form optimization. But all of these are specific to kovaaks itself. The best way to brush up on your technique for control tracking would be a video from VT Matty. The best way to get better aim at Apex requires a lot of research and a lot of time into the correct resources. If you see my videos as an opportunity for you to get better at Apex, then that's a positive, I think. But that is not my intention, and so I want to make that clear at the start of this video. So, let's look at number 3 that I listed there, form specialization, specific to control tracking for today's video. How did fixing my weaknesses with my form help me get Nova? As you can see from the screenshot there, I have Nova for Control Sphere Advanced Season 5. I haven't played a lot of the scenarios in Season 5, mainly because I play Snake Track a lot. I love Snake Track, I'm celestial for it there. Soon, I will have VT Raw Control Advanced Season 5 to Nova as well, but for now it's just Control Sphere for my Nova score. Let's go ahead and give an oversimplification here. From the range of 10 to 30 CM360, we use mostly wrist and fingertips. There is always going to be exceptions to what I'm saying here. That's why it's an oversimplification. But for most people, 20 to 30, you're using mostly your wrist and your fingertips. From the range of 40 CM360 to 60 CM360, it's very arm dominant. Of course, there's wrist, fingertips, also shoulder, elbow, and arm, but arm dominant is 40 to 60. Then from 70 to 90, we start implementing much more of our shoulder. You'll notice how your elbow moves more, and again, your arm for 70 to 90. So for me, going back to control tracking, wrist and fingertip were a major weakness for me. Playing a ton of precise, I had really bad habits with my wrists. I would lock my wrist out and wouldn't be able to direction change very well. But also on the 10 to 30 CM360, I have very limited experience. I play all my games at slow sensitivity, so I don't really have that many reps in the 10 to 30 CM360 range. So that prompted the playlist that you're seeing here. This all started with the middle one, 20 CM control tracking, and then branched to the other ones later. Each of these has the same 9 tasks. A lot of them are pulled from Aimers Plus routines, but we even have modifications to the VT benchmarks, and I made my own special version of Whisper for this. If you look closely, you'll notice that the play counters are different. On the left, it's 1 play each, on the right, it's 1 play each, and then in the middle, it's 2 plays each. This is the way I chose to play these playlists. It's under an hour doing it this way, but the reason why I did it like that is because my 20 CM aim has been very bad for a long time. I've recognized, specifically at the 20 CM360 range, I need the most work, and so for this here, I decided to put a little bit more time into 20 CM. Please do not see this big picture here and take that as a recommendation that that is what you have to do. I think for you guys watching it, it might even be the most beneficial just to play each one time, so instead of the middle being 2, it'd be 1, and that way you can get through the playlist in under 30 minutes. I did leave this how it was, however, just so you guys can see that I'm trying to recognize where my faults are and trying to work on those ranges that I struggle in. Anyway, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into what each of these scenarios look like and kind of my thoughts around them. Okay, scenario number 1 here, VT Raw Control Advanced Hard, 35 radius. So what you're seeing now is actually my play on 30 CM360, and my score will come out to be quite low. It's much lower than 10 and 20. The reason for that is actually because the bot is smaller than the other 2 versions. I don't see 30 cm as my biggest weakness for my aim. It just so happened that these scores turned out to be lower because the bot is smaller. Also, the scores that you're going to see here are only my first runs. When you go and play the playlist, a lot of these I've played through and improved on my scores. I wanted to go ahead and leave in my first runs of these just so that you guys could see what my initial play was and kind of to give you a better target to shoot at. Anyway, back to raw control specifically, this is a VT Season 5 benchmark. Because I knew we were going to be making the bot bigger than its default, I wanted to make sure that it was as shifty and kind of hard to keep on target with. Raw control is really great because it has basically the full set of X, Y, and Z movement, and so I have a really hard time with it, but it's a lot of fun. As you can see, my score here on 30 cm 360 was 2518. That's 42% accuracy. Okay, on to Control Sphere Advanced Hard. Control Sphere is an interesting scenario because it's been really, this is a official VT benchmark, but it's been a benchmark for good aimers for a long time. There's Control Sphere and Extra Control Sphere. Clover really set the standard for what good aim on Control Sphere looks like. But now we have it as one of the Season 5 benchmarks. The Season 5 benchmarks for at least advanced are faster by nature than our regular Control Sphere. That's especially true for this advanced hard version. It's very shifty and really forces you to have your game on point. My first score was 2667, which is almost 45% accuracy. Next up, we have Angelic 4 Voltaic. This is a benchmark that comes from Voltaic's Season 2 and was also a part of Voltaic Season 3. That's because they're the exact same. The version you're seeing here on screen is actually a size change from the Elite version, and the Elite version was an updated and more challenging set of the Season 3 Voltaic benchmarks. I really like this one in particular a lot. I think it makes the bot a lot more shifty and a lot harder to track. So shout out Ness, she's an insane aimer, and you can check out all of her playlists on Twitter, or X as it's called now. She has a great set of playlists for players trying to improve in all categories. My first score for this one was 2853, which comes out to almost 48% accuracy. Next up, we have Weird Sphere. So, as I hinted at earlier, Weird Sphere is a modified version of Wisphere. Wisphere was made by Whisper, and then it was again popularized by Clover with his Extra Wisphere, and the Weird Sphere that you see here is modified from that one that Clover made, Extra Wisphere. I changed the timescale and the bot speed, so it is a little bit more shifty and reactive, but I think it makes it really interesting and really challenging. Wisphere's 60 seconds medium is a part of the benchmark set for Aimers Plus Precise. Really recommend that one if you don't prefer this weird sphere that I have here. For my first play, I got 10,000. I'm already up to 13,000 now on this after a couple plays. This first run was really bad for me, but yeah, my first official play was 35% accuracy. Next up, we have Leap Strafe's Control Fantasy. This one comes from Fantasy QWQ. Fantasy is a pretty legendary aimer. He's kind of vanished though off the scene. I'm not sure if he still plays kovaaks, and I think that he deleted his Twitter, but his resources are still around, and this one in particular with Leap Strafes is a really cool, really unique control tracking scenario. This one is also found on the Precise benchmarks for Aimers Plus. I really like the diagonal movement on this and also how it stays in the same consistent region. This one's just a really fun one to play. For my first score on this, I had 8,190, which is almost 35% accuracy. Next up, we have Deceptive Tracking XYZ. This one comes from Wallpiper. I didn't know too much about Wallpiper until a couple weeks ago, but a lot of people have said that he's one of the best creators here on kovaaks, and I especially really like this one from him. For some of you guys, you might not even consider this a control tracking scenario. You might put it in a weird subcategory, but for me, it fits the bill of control tracking very well. Very unique, challenging movement to track, so I definitely recommend you guys playing through this one. My second score on this was 1917. That's because the first score I got like 1500 or something crazy, but it's almost 36% accuracy. Next up, we have Air Voltaic Invincible 1. So this is the first bot from Air Voltaic Season 2, Season 3. Even though Air Voltaic is a reactive benchmark, this one meets the standard of control tracking pretty well. It's actually quite slow and more of a higher accuracy bot, so I made the radius much more thin. That's why it looks like a quicker bot here in this video. A quicker bot is kind of like a pencil shaped bot, or like a little bit thicker than a pencil. But yeah, for my first play I got 3215, which is almost 54% accuracy. Next up we have Air Voltaic Invincible 5, coming again from Air Voltaic Season 3. This one is definitely faster than the one you just saw, but it still displays a lot of control tracking properties, so I wanted to go ahead and include this one too for the playlist. My score after 2 plays on this one was 3311, which came out to around 55% accuracy. Alright, last but not least, we have VT Ground Advance Season 5, bot number 3. So Season 5 Ground is a reactive scenario, a ground reactive scenario. But the third bot is kind of like Ground Wisphere, is how it's been described before. It definitely has a ton of aspects of control tracking, and so it is the most unique scenario here on this playlist, and one of my favorites. My first score here was 3421, which came out to just about 58% accuracy. So that is going to go ahead and complete the playlist. I hope that you guys find this playlist helpful to your control tracking endeavors. You know, we were talking about Aristotle at the beginning of the video, but Aristotle was trained by another great thinker named Platos. Even though Platos is revered for his ideas, in many ways Aristotle outshined him. And so, if I am to be Platos in this analogy, I hope that you guys, my pupils, or the people training under my methods, I hope that you guys go on to be your own Aristotles and that you outshine me in all the ways that you can. It's pretty cool too, because from Aristotle came Alexander the Great, and so there's this kind of weird lineage from Socrates to Plato to Aristotle to Alexander the Great. The line of mentorship is really profound, even though they had different pursuits. Like Alexander the Great was a conqueror. I think in some ways Aristotle was disappointed in what his son chose to do, but nonetheless they are all historically very significant. Anyway, that's a lot of history rambling from me. I just wanted to say thank you again to all of you guys for the support on my channel recently. It's been really cool, and I just always want to make sure you guys know how much I appreciate you guys commenting and sticking around to the channel. So thank you guys again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.